Welcome to the 16th episode of Phenomenal Woman Wednesday. I am your host, Dr. Saran Nataki. Thank you for joining. Welcome to Power 365 Phenomenal Woman Wednesdays. This podcast will address issues ranging from what is a phenomenal woman? Are you enough? Community service, paying it forward, the manifestation of dreams with words and action, the power in being a woman, the men who support phenomenal women, fashion, and much more. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back to Phenomenal Woman Wednesday. This week, I have a very special guest for you. She is a store owner. She owns a boutique of her own, Funky Flair Boutique in Atlanta, Georgia. And she is Miss Kesha Denise. Welcome, Kesha.
Hi. Hey.
So
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
I am so humbled that you picked me to be on your show. You know, I love you so much.
Thank you. I love you too. Now, Kesha and I have a history. We came into Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated at the same time. So she is my parallel sans. And so I'm just so honored to have you as a guest today. So I'm going to hand over the mic to you and ask you to introduce yourself to my listeners. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the interview.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I am Kesha Denise, the owner of Funky Flair Boutique, and also the creator of Combos with Kesha. I am originally from Inglewood, California, the city of angels, Inglewood's finest. Born and raised. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia in 2006, and I always get the question of, why are you moving from LA? At that time, I just wanted a change of pace, and I just wanted something different for myself. So I was like, you know what, let me move to Atlanta, and if I don't like it, I know I can always come back to LA because that's home. And 13 years later, I'm still here. I am an only child. I love people. I just got a cute puppy named Callie, and I love fashion. I love people, like I just said, and I actually know that I am walking in my purpose. And when you're walking in your purpose, everything is just organic, and just everything is good. So that's who I am, Kesha Denise.
Awesome. I love your response because on Phenomenal Woman Wednesday, our whole purpose here is to promote authenticity. So being organic is right in alignment with what we stand for here. So that is amazing. And then, moving to Atlanta from Inglewood, I remember that. And I just always thought that was so brave of you to do. That was so courageous. Like, were you fearful at all? Or did you feel like I know sometimes when you're moving through life, there are certain, like a door opens and you walk through it and it just feels right. Did it feel like that to you? Or were you did you have a little, reservation when you were doing it?
I think, for me, I can honestly say, sidebar, I'm an only child, no siblings, no stepbrothers, it's just me. So when I moved to Atlanta, I don't think that, if I can really reflect back, I don't think that I was scared. I just knew that I wanted something different. Okay. And I think that when you shift your mindset of wanting something different or wanting more for yourself, you're willing to just take whatever comes your way.
Yeah.
And I was literally ready. I had visited Atlanta 3 times. Actually, one was with our sorority. I came to Atlanta with her one trip, and I just fell in love with the culture. And I had came back 2 more times after that, and I was like, yo, I'm moving. And I never forget, I was telling my mommy, I was like, yeah, mommy, I'm moving. She's like, moving where? Around the corner? And I was like, no, I'm moving out of state. She's like, yeah, okay. And nobody believed me. And because I am a true quintessential LA girl. And I remember my mom that came to my apartment. I was living off of Boston and Fairfax, and I had boxes packed. And the guy that actually shipped my car, he had the trailer out front. She was like, who's moving? And I'm like, mommy, me. And she's like, oh, you're for real? She's like, who's in Atlanta? Is it a man? What's going on? I'm like, no man, no friends. I'm just out of here. And when I got on that plane and I landed at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, life changed for me. Wow. And I think that Atlanta has been one of the best decisions that I have made in my life. LA raised me, but Atlanta made me become the woman that I am now.
Wow.
So was I fearful? I don't think so. I just was ready to take whatever. Now, don't get it twisted. I've had some situations and some jokers that I've come in contact with, but that could have happened in LA. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted change.
Part of becoming a woman.
Right. So being fearful, I don't think so. But I'm kind of a risk taker anyway. So I just was like, let's go.
Okay.
And I'm still here.
Yeah, that sounds about right from what I know of you. So
yeah, I just go.
So, well, thank you. So there's 3 questions that I ask every guest on Phenomenal Woman Wednesday. So I'll just start with those, and then we'll move into some of the more some of the questions that I've curtailed for you. So, What does it mean to you to be a phenomenal woman?
To be a phenomenal woman, to me, is someone who is organic, authentic in her own skin. A phenomenal woman, she is strong. A phenomenal woman, she can admit when she's wrong. And she can also admit when she's right, but not in a boastful manner. A phenomenal woman, she just is the shit. Like, she is who she is, and she makes no apologies about it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a phenomenal woman, and yes, I am a black woman. I think that all black women are phenomenal, but at the end of the day, a true quintessential phenomenal woman, she is strong and she is true to who she is. Whether she is black, white, Latina, Armenian, whatever.
Amen to that. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So in keeping with that, who have been the phenomenal woman in your life?
Oh gosh, my mother. My mother and my grandmother, rest in peace. My grandmother, she is one of the main reasons why I am in fashion. Growing up, my grandmother, she was a seamstress and she owned a cleaners. And I used to watch her sew clothes and handle the cleaning industry and just doing all of that. And she did it with 7 kids. And I just thought that was dope. And then, as far as my mother is concerned, I was raised by a single mother. I watched my mom literally bust her butt to take care of me. You know, I went to private school from pre-K to 8th grade. Any extracurricular activity that I wanted to be in, she made a way. I don't know how, because it was just me and her. I don't know. As I watched her, I always just thought that my mom was just dope. Like, for somebody to sacrifice their life and their personal goals for me, like, hands down, that's phenomenal. So those are the 2 women that are phenomenal in my life. And will always be, you know, like my grandmother, you know, she's passed away, but her spirit lives within me. So the things that the decisions that I make, I always think about, what would my granny do? Or what was she doing? She actually was a redhead, so I call her my favorite redhead. She is the real I love her. So, yeah.
Oh, you just had like some really amazing role models in your life. Really strong women, your mom and your grandmother. And when you talk about, there is something really unique about a single mother and how she has to dig deep and really provide and be. It's really kind of it is a really unique act that a single mother has to do because they have to be both mother and father in the household, swinging back and forth between masculine and feminine energy just to provide this balance for this child, you know, and hoping that they do it right. So, I mean, I really commend single moms, and to have one who did it in a way that you respect is even more awesome. So kudos to your mom.
Girl, I love that lady so much. She drives me crazy, but that's my boo. It's so funny because, like, literally 2 days ago, I called my mom. I talked to my mom 2 times a day anyway, but I just called her probably the 3rd time for the day. And I was like, Mom, thank you. And she's like, what do you want? I was like, I don't want anything. I just like to call and just give you props. And she was like, about what? And I said, as I'm sitting here and I hike every day, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the interaction of mothers and daughters, and our relationship is so dope. Not everybody has a dope mother-daughter relationship.
So true.
Where that you and I have. Like, I can talk to my mother about any and everything. I am selective on certain things that I tell her, but if I wanted to just be a full open book, I can be that with my mother, and she is non-judgmental. and just how she raised me. Like, I see different articles and read different magazines of how mothers are not really there for their children or their daughters, and I'm like, damn, that's kind of janky. And I thank my mom for her. I thank my mom for sacrificing all of the things that she could have been doing to make sure that I was straight.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my boo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, as you reflect on these women in your life, would you say that you've adopted any of these characteristics into your own person, like your own woman?
Absolutely. My mother, for example, is a hard worker. Both my mother and my grandmother, they were hard workers. Like, if you can't do it right, don't do it at all. And I think that mantra has been in my life, especially being a business owner. And then just loving what you do. That would be from my grandmother's perspective of it. My grandmother loves fashion, loved being around people, which is what I do. And I definitely think that their being who they are and were has definitely transcended upon me. I think that they were dope, and I think I'm pretty dope most of the time. So
I would agree. Yes, I would agree.
Well, thank you.
So, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I think, too, when I think back to many moons ago, you've always been very fashionable. You know, you always put your best foot forward in terms of how you presented yourself. I would say you were pretty flawless. Like, that would be like a word that I would use with you. And yeah. And when I think about, and I think that really resonated with me too about you. Like, you just have this really bright personality. It's kind of addictive. If you spend any time with Kesha, it's always fun. Like, it's never sad. It's always fun. It's always upbeat. And I really appreciated that about you, and how you presented yourself. My own mother was very fashionable, and so fashion it means something different for different people. And so, can you tell us how you came to decide to open your own business? Like, how did you make that decision to open Funky Flair Boutique?
So when I was in LA, before I moved, I came to Atlanta with a plan. And when I was in LA, I actually formulated the name Funky Flair Boutique, got an LLC and the whole shebang. And I always knew that I wanted a storefront. You know, Fast forward, everybody is like, oh my God, you always hear storefronts are risky, and why would you want to pay all that overhead? Again, I am a risk taker, so I was like, I'm going to do it. I've made up my mind. But I knew that when I did the storefront, I wanted to have an experience for the customers, for the ladies that come in, and even for the gentlemen that come in and shop for their wives and their girlfriends. Storefronts, when you actually have a space where people can come and actually just talk about any and everything, you feel like it's your home away from home. And I think that by being in business for as long as I have, my storefront is a safe haven. Like, I have experienced with some of my customers, they talked about weddings, they talked about divorces. I even went to a divorce party for one of my clients, which was actually super fun. But having a storefront, it's just an experience. I want my people to come in and feel warm and fuzzy, because I love fashion. When I would go to different high-end boutiques, or even, the sauces swap me, it was never an experience. It just would come in, buy your stuff, and keep it pushing. And I just felt that retail lacks that. You have people that are working in retail that are just working to get a check, or because they quote unquote want to be stylists. Yes, you can be a stylist, and yes, you need to make income, but make it fun for yourself and make it fun for that person that's spending their hard-earned money with you. And you build up that rapport. People don't want to feel like that they're being approached because it's about $1. People want to feel like they really care about that person. Everybody that steps into Funky Flair Boutique, I've had people say that when I'm not there, they're upset. Like, where's Kesha? And I make you feel good about yourself, and I'm going to make you feel good about your purchase. And at the end of the day, yes, I'm in the business to make money. However, I have had customers that come in and won't spend a dime, but they remember how I made them feel. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to actually have a storefront. Now, given today's economy, we're in pandemic and we're about to hit a recession and depression and all of these things that people are saying. I will continue to stay prayed up and try my very best to keep my doors open during this pandemic and even after, because I create experiences. And I can't stress that enough, because it's about just interactions with people. Mm-hmm. Like, that is timeless and it's priceless. And when people come in and talk to me or I come to them, I'm impacting them just as much as I'm impacting them, and vice versa.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. And just observing, I've purchased from Funky Flair Boutique myself, really wonderful pieces, really cute, trendy, sexy, all of that. And feminine. And affordable and feminine. So, right. And I really love how you provide, you make your clothes move live, when you're doing your Instagram feeds and you're modeling the wardrobe. And Kesha has a beautiful figure, by the way. She's...
Because I eat air and water.
But it's a woman's figure. Like, you have curves, and it's beautiful.
I'm a real girl. I'm short. Mm-hmm. I got booty. I got hips. Sometimes I have to tuck my stomach in. Sometimes I let it hang out. Like, I'm a real girl.
Yeah, and I love that. So you market clothing that's for every woman. So I really like that. So, and I'll make sure that I provide a link to your store, your boutique, so that my listeners can partake and really take advantage of that experience. But I really do understand what you mean about providing an experience just by watching even your Instagram feed. I haven't been to your store in person, but I feel like I've been there.
Well, come up. Whenever you come to ATL, Saudi, come through.
I will. I absolutely will. So when you're talking, so you've kind of addressed this next question. So I was going to ask you about your journey to Funky Flair Boutique, but I think you've alluded to that. But when you took your first step into creating your new life in Atlanta, you said that when you were in LA, you already had a name for it. You knew that you were going to have Funky Flair Boutique. You always knew you wanted a storefront. So when you stepped into to Atlanta, what was happening at that time? Like, how did you get from day one to Funky Flair Boutique?
Okay, so when I moved to Atlanta, I did not have a job. But I don't know if you knew this or not, but I used to do hair in LA.
Yes, I did.
So I started doing hair. I found a salon here in Atlanta, and I was doing hair from 2006 to 2013, right before I opened up the boutique. Mm-hmm. And the hair business fluctuates, so I was like, okay, I need an actual corporate job so that I can solidify X amount of paychecks that are coming in. So at the time, before I actually opened up the storefront, I was working for a company called Dermalogica, as well as doing hair. So I was working full-time and doing hair full-time and just stacking that money. And in the midst of me being in the hair salon, I made it a point to, get dressed. Most stylists, they have on their smocks, or they usually wear sweats. I was still casual and comfy, but I always made my outfits work for what I was doing. So people were like, oh my God, your outfit is cute. And oh my God, your earrings are cute. So from that point, I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to build my clientele in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I am my own walking billboard. So from being in the salon, dressed cute, by being in corporate America, dressing cute, I was building that clientele right then and there. But because I didn't have a physical storefront, I would go to neighboring salons and say, hey, y'all, I got accessories, I got clothes in the trunk of the car. Like, I was in LA hustle mode, because that's all that I knew. Mm-hmm. And from that point, it got to be really, really big. And then I was like, okay, I'm driving all across Atlanta. This is getting to be a bit much. So I started doing pop-up shops, renting out spaces, or either having someone host it at their home, and they would call their girlfriends. And from there, I said, okay, I'm making the money. I'm making money from here. I'm making money from the full-time job. I'm making money from the pop-up shop. And I just started stacking those coins. And one day I was on good old Craigslist, and I found a space. And I was like, okay, found a space, went to it 3 times before I made a decision. And that third time I went in there, I asked the real estate agent, could she step out? She was looking crazy, but I didn't care. and I sat in that space and I prayed on that space. And then still took me. I was still kind of hesitant because paying rent is a big move. And God said move, and I said okay, and I paid my little deposit, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. I like what you said. This is why. So you said you started branding yourself from day one. Like that matters. I always say that to people, the way you never know who's paying attention to you. So it is really important how you present yourself in every format and every place that you go. So you use your actual job, that you were, and I say job because a job is what you need to do to get to what you want to do. And you used your job, and you used a part of what your career was at that time, doing hair. You used those as opportunities to market yourself. So you were branding yourself. You started small scale from the trunk of your car. And then you started utilizing pop-ups. So you took the next step. Then you saved your money. Saved your money. That's important because people think that when they look at social media, they'll look at, they think that people just kind of blow up overnight. Like it just kind of like, I'm going to start me a business and I'm going to be boom, bam. And it's not that way. So
what I will say is that I think that people that have longevity in any industry, whether it's fashion, hair, real estate, we've been doing this before social media even was existing. Like you have to be committed to the grind. You have to put in the work. Right. Now, there are some people that will have overnight successes, but that's very far in between. Like you gotta put in the work. You have to be consistent about putting in the work. So like right now I'm sitting in the parking lot, I'm about to hike after I get off with you. I literally am still grinding like it's the first day Funky Flair got a logo. And I say that because I have on, from head to toe, I have on a Funky Flair sweatsuit. And on the back of my sweatshirt, it has my website, my boutique address, and my phone number. It is a bit over the top. However, but as I'm hiking up that hike, somebody going to see the front of my sweatshirt and like, oh, that's cute. And they're going to see the back where you can get it. Like, I'm always in grind mode because, again, People that are listening to this podcast right now, this is the first time that they've ever heard of Funky Flair.
That's right.
People that are outside hiking, they don't know where Funky Flair is. Some of them might even live 2 blocks from the store and never knew. So you have to always be committed to the grind and always promote what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. How do you, as you've gone through this journey, how have you managed self-doubt?
How have I managed self-doubt? Wow, that's a good question. Get out of my own head. Get out of my own way. And I am super duper prayerful. Super duper. I cannot express that enough. When I have moments of doubt, when I have moments of fear, when I feel like what do I do? The person that I go to is God. And I know sometimes I'll be like, oh, God. Like, for me, that's real. I talk to God. I sit in my prayer closet. And I really have a prayer closet. It's really cute. Sit in my prayer closet. And I talk to him. And I know that most of us want God to tear the roof off and say, Saran, thou doest this, or you should do it that. That's not how it happens. You have to literally sit and be still. Not literally sit and be still and yes, you can sit and be still in that moment, but you have to, once you pray about something and something is going on in your life, you have to be open and wanting to hear the answer, whether you like it or not. Yeah. So in the moment of self-doubt, when I'm going to him and I'm praying to him, I have the mindset of whatever it is he tells me to do, whether I like it or not, I got to move because that's what he wants me to do. So that's how I deal with self-doubt. And I mean, I am human. You know, right now we have a pandemic, and I'm like, oh, shoot, like, what's going to happen? Like, I love 97% of my business has been in store. But because I now am closed, I've had to come up with creative ways. And I'm like, okay, when I open up the store, are the people going to come back, or what's going to happen? So it's a little bit of self-doubt currently, but I'm like, you know what, God, I know you got me. I know you got me. I know that I'm going to put in this work. So as far as self-doubt, I personally go to prayer, and anybody that was asking that question about what they should do, I would say go to God. Yeah. If you don't know God, whoever your Allah is, whoever your spiritual being is higher than you, go to that scene and shout it out. Kiki, ha ha, and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great advice. As you're talking, I'm just thinking about just reflecting even on my own life and how what you're saying applies to me even. Just, when you go to God or the higher being that you worship or acknowledge, you have to be able and willing to move in the direction that God moves you. And I was just talking to someone on another podcast, Tashi, in fact, about how when actually it might have been to Maya, how maybe both, how when you pray and you get sometimes you're fearful about going to God because maybe you're not ready for that answer. Because we want to control so much ourselves. We want to have full control. We don't want to hand it over. And so by praying and asking God for an answer and for action, it may look a little different than what we would like it to look. So that is, I always say it's like a really courageous thing to actually pray. It's a
I think prayer, I think what happens is that people, they always feel like, oh, they're only going to God to pray when something bad is happening.
Mm-hmm.
You go to God when something good is happening. Just like when you tell your husband, girl, I got a new boo. You talking that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, God wants you just to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk to him and you give him the honor and the glory and you have that bond with him, like, you will manifest just greatness. And I think that people will be thinking, oh, you have to go to him like you talking in Shakespeare form, like Heavenly Father. Like I don't talk to God like that. I be like, hey, it's me again. The little front one, 4 levels. It's me. Guess what happened? Oh wait, you already know what happened. Like, and I just think that, but that comes with just your relationship with him. It's again going from private school. I used to always, dear Heavenly Father, the whole protocol. But at 42. God is me.
Right.
Because he knows your heart anyway. He knows what you're thinking. He knows what you want to do before you even open up your mouth. So if you have this conversation with him, the self-doubt that you may be feeling, he already knows that you're feeling a certain kind of way.
Right.
And he's gonna make it work out for you regardless. And I think that as humans, we get in our own way. The thing about it is that God tells you no. Just realize that he has something better for you on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, what we think about is, oh my God, this is big, it's major, oh my God, what's going to happen? He has something that's more phenomenal, more epic, more iconic than we even fathom. So just, let that self-doubt go. And just do you.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
That's my take.
Yeah. So you've already talked about your relationship with fashion, where you got it from, those who influenced you in terms of fashion. What would you say fashion means to you? So it means, something to different people. So like for me, fashion is representative of, I really think, like I mentioned to you about my mom and how I own what I put out. I really feel like I'm able to represent myself, express myself. So what does it mean to you?
Fashion to me is life. I try to live abundantly and I try to live positively, and I think that's what fashion is. Fashion is energy. Mm-hmm. Fashion is movement. Fashion is music. Fashion is people. Happy people, that is. Fashion is what gives me life. Like, I breathe, eat, sleep this. And honestly, if one day we woke up and we didn't have to wear clothes, I would be going to somebody's bush and making bush bras. I don't know. It's just fashion is, it's just more than anything, it's colorful, it's just life. Everything that you think of an abundant, happy life, I think that's what fashion is. It makes me smile. It makes me just come alive. And as you know, I have a big personality. I have a bubbly personality, and that's just what fashion is to me. I think that when I put on clothes, it makes me feel good. When you feel good, you look good. Your energy inside and out. It's just life. That's just life.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Because there are people who, other people who feel like fashion is almost, I've experienced where people almost try to shame you because you care about what you look like or what you put on your back or what, and so it's a vessel, it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle toward expression. And like you said, for you, fashion is life. It makes you feel alive. It has the ability sometimes, like if you are not feeling the greatest, putting on something nice and making yourself feel or look good makes you feel better, so it can be therapeutic. So I think that the way that you express it in terms of just being, that's how I feel like you're expressing it, like a vehicle toward who you are. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, and like for example, like right now, I know everybody is quarantined and chilling, and I've seen different memes and people posting on Instagram and on their stories. They're like, "Oh my God, to the living room I go, to the kitchen I go," but you could still, even in your home, if you've been in your pajamas for 3 days, no, you can still get cute. You know what I'm saying? You can
Amen.
Even you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I'm a single girl. I'm not dating anybody right now. I need a boo, but I'm not dating anybody, and it's just me and Callie. However, I still make it a point to get up and get dressed. Now, am I putting on one of my tutus? No, but if I wanted to, I would, because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel alive. And even for those that are the mommies that are at home, doing homeschooling and all these different things, just because you're at home with the kids, you can still get cute, whether it's putting on that lipstick or putting your hair in a cute bun or putting on an earring lip gloss. You can still feel alive.
Yeah.
Fashion is not just the quintessential clothes piece of it, it's the whole entire look.
That's right.
You know what I mean? From head to toe. So just come alive.
Yeah.
Fashion is life.
The experience that you describe, the experience that you offer people when they come into Funky Flair Boutique is what you're talking about, like from head to toe.
Yeah.
I make my kids get up every day and get dressed, so they sit at the kitchen table, dressed and ready for school. One of them on board with it. She's a true fashionista with her 8-year-old. Yeah. But the other one, my 10-year-old baby, he's like, oh.
Right.
Yeah. But I still make him do it.
Even when you get dressed for the day, even if we weren't in COVID, when you get dressed, it's just how people perceive you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's just the energy that you give off. When you feel like you look bomb, like that energy is going through the retro waves and spirit of the universe, and you're attracting other people. You're gonna get that compliment. You're gonna get that dialogue. You're gonna get that promotion because you feel good. You feel like a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, even my gardener, I told her the other day, I said, girl, them boots is popping. She had on these gardener boots, and they was actually cute. And the look that she had on her face, the smile that she gave me, yes, she's in the garden getting up earthworms and stuff like that, but she still was high in the garden.
Yeah.
It's all about, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to give Consuela an extra $10 tip. She's out here looking cute on my grass. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, when you look good, you feel good no matter what industry you're in. Whether it's gardening, healthcare, fashion, real estate, professor, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I agree.
People pay attention to you.
They do.
They want to
pay attention. Yeah, it's true. What are the top characteristics that you would say someone starting a new business should entertain? What are the top key things that they should be thinking about?
What they should be thinking about is truly know your craft. I cannot express that enough. I think that people say, people think that because they think that they dress cute, or their friends told them that they dress cute, they think that that's what it is. It goes so much deeper than that. You have to really know fabrics, textiles, things of that nature. So a characteristic, knowing your craft and understanding the craft. Taking classes in fashion. You know what I'm saying? Going to the trade shows, taking a webinar, or getting under people, finding a mentor that does what you want to do. Another characteristic is that you have to outwork yourself. The only competition you have is you versus you. It's being an entrepreneur. I have never worked as hard for myself that I've done for anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, I am always working. Like, it doesn't stop unless I turn my phone off, and then as I turn my phone off, I'm still thinking like, oh my God, I'm missing something. Somebody's calling me. Somebody's asking about a piece. Just do you. You have to put in the work. Know your craft, you versus you, and I'm gonna go back to prayer. Stay prayed up, because running a business or just elevating to any level of you're trying to grow, you gotta stay prayed up, because when you start off, the people that you think that are for you, sometimes you leave them behind. And it's not in a cocky or boastful way.
Yeah.
It's just that as you grow, this whole mantra, the saying that it's lonely at the top, I actually agree with that, because people that I started out with that were friends and that were family, that were, I'm going to help Kesha, I'm going to support her. As I've grown, those people have shifted. Not because of me per se, but because of their own individual things, or sometimes some people don't want to see you, or they can't accept your growth.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you have to stay prayed up, because you start to think that, is it me? Am I changing? No. At the core, you're still going to be the same quintessential person who you are. It's just that your circumstances change. You are you. So I would say prayer, knowing your craft, and you versus you.
Yeah, that segues perfectly into the next question I have for you. So, here on Phenomenal Woman Wednesday, I've talked about the front row seat. Those who occupy the front row seat in your life. Sometimes those seats they shift. So you may have a team of people in your life that really have direct access to you, and then over time, the relationships don't really serve one another well. So that seat has to be cleared out, or and not necessarily cleared out, but just shifted just a little bit. Maybe you don't like get rid of those people. They're not really losing friendships, but maybe they now take a second, third row, in your life. Right. So what are your thoughts on that?
Or nosebleed.
Or nosebleed, yeah, or nosebleed, exactly, yeah. Right. You act accordingly to what's appropriate for the situation. But so, what are your thoughts on that about people deserving a front row seat? And you kind of alluded to that, but who deserves a front row seat in your life? What do you think about that?
This is about to be probably the most transparent that I have. I've done a lot of podcasts, I've done a lot of interviews. And what I will say to answer that, everybody is not meant to go. When I first said that I was going to move to Atlanta to open up my store, baby, some of the people that I saw, some of my own sorors, some of the people that I grew up with since the sandbox was like, girl, you ain't gonna open up no store, or you'll be back, or why would you want to do this? And when I moved to Atlanta, started getting popping. And then I actually opened up the storefront. I had people fly in, the same very people that said I wasn't going to do it. They flew in just to see. They're like, and then one of these people in particular, she's like, I see that you open up. That's cute. You're not going to make a year. I'm like, wow, you actually said that out loud. Okay. And now 7 years later, she has to watch me perform every single day of her life. And I think for that situation, it hurt me because this is somebody that was close to me. However, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. When you're on your journey to greatness, you cannot always share everything with everybody. Yes. Everybody can't handle what you're about to do. Yes. So in the midst of your journey, in the midst of you growing, you have to recognize the shift. And as you're shifting, that comes with prayer, and that comes from, experiences that it's not a bad thing that this particular person said that to me. It was a wake-up call for me, because I needed her to do that, because it showed me who she was as a person, but then also it helped me for other people that were going to come along my path that may do the same situation. So when I see it once, I know what to do the second and third time. Everybody is not meant to go. Everybody is not meant to know your each and every move. That goes for family members as well, family, friends. I think that in your journey, you need to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. I have a friend right now who is close and dear to my heart. I cannot share everything with her because I know right now in her personal life, she's got some things going on and she's not in a good space. Mm-hmm. Now, should I damper my joys and what I'm going to do for that? I just am not sharing that with her right now. Mm-hmm. But that's also being aware of who your friends are and being aware of their situation. So there's certain friends that I may hang out and go to a Jeezy concert with that I would never go to a ballet with. Mm-hmm. So I think you just have to be aware and differentiate who's in what category, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense because I call it I have a board. So I have board members. So the board is, and these people are pretty stationary. The board has been, it's worked out well. I've had to kind of replace a member or two, but for the most part, the board is the board. And I go to the board with certain things, not everything, but certain things. Like, okay, board, I'm thinking about this, what do you think? And then I can kind of get some honest feedback or, but they're the people in my life that I really trust that have demonstrated that they are worthy of that kind of information. But I don't share everything. I have learned, over time because, you get excited and you want to share, you want, you feel these people love you and they want what's good for you. But we're human. We're human. Yeah. And so if somebody, like you mentioned about your friend, if somebody's not in a good space, they may not be able to support what you want wholeheartedly. And I believe in energy. I believe in energy. So I believe that when people talk about, that's a whole entirely different podcast, but when people talk about like voodoo and things like that, I believe that people can just wish bad upon you. So you don't want to put your ideas out there and have them in the hands of someone who doesn't really propel them forward. They're masking themselves as a supporter, but they're really not. And so now you got to combat that energy with positive energy. So you have to be very careful. I agree with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I look at, for example, who I think is just a dope business owner. Between Puffy or Jay-Z. Pick who you ever want. I remember, for example, with Jay-Z. Mm-hmm. Jay-Z started off with Damon Dash, right? Mm-hmm. Damon Dash and another gentleman by the name of Big. Mm-hmm. And when they all started, they were like Rockefeller, da-da-da-da-da-da. Right. And as we know, Damon Dash is super duper over the top and super duper boastful and just arrogant and he blows money. Mm-hmm. Jay-Z saw a bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And in the midst of that, we can now see where Jay-Z is versus Dame Dash. Right. No shade. Dame Dash, he's not a has-been, but kind of sort of. He still get money, but he's not on the level of a Jay-Z. Jay-Z has Beyonce as a wife. That's iconic. Right. You've got a basketball team. You've got, you have your own label. You have so much. So with that being said, as you grow, everybody is not, and I remember an article that I read about Jay was trying to tell Dame, like, yo, if we do it this way, this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And Dame was like, no, we can keep popping bottles and having video girls, and it's going to be Gucci. But we see where Dame is versus Jay-Z. Yeah. So, it's unfortunate that they don't have a friendship. They did an article recently where they're actually cool now, but it took them a while to get back to even speaking because Jay-Z saw a vision and Dame wanted to say the same. Mm-hmm. So you got to grow. Yeah. And when you grow, sometimes you got to leave people where they're at. Yeah. And some people actually are okay with where they're at. Yeah. But that's fine. So, that's fine for them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So pretty much like what you said, just knowing who to tell what to. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's kind of unfortunate that you can't really share your joy with everybody in your tribe. Yeah. But it is life lessons. That's just part of the game. Yeah, that's very true. What can you do? You have to accept the reality of the situation. So, Finally, my final question for you is, as you mentioned, we are in a global pandemic. We literally went to sleep one night, free, living life a certain way, and we woke up in an entirely different reality that seems to
it will have some long-lasting effect in terms of, our ability to get back to what we were, or maybe it'll be different for a while. So with that, what do you think that COVID-19 is teaching us?
COVID-19 is teaching us that most people are unprepared, teaching us that things that we were worried about really don't matter. I think that COVID has taught, well, I'm going to speak for me. I think that COVID for me has taught me that family is everything.
Yeah.
Family and friends is everything. For me, I'm so busy running the boutique and trying to do this and that. I have no choice but to sit down and actually cultivate the relationships and friendships that I have, or get rid of some. COVID has taught me that, not for me per se, but I think that a lot of people are unprepared. Which is like how everybody was running to the grocery store to get toilet tissue and I'm like, y'all don't have tissue stuff? Like, y'all have this. Like, I'm just, have some too. Like, if you run out of paper towel, you can have a dishcloth to wipe your hands. So it just looked like COVID proved to me that people were unprepared and or people are not using their common sense to think rationally. I also think that COVID has taught me my relationship with God, again, is stronger than it's ever been. Not because I'm afraid, but because of the fact that I have no choice but to make the time to talk to Him.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? Like, people think, I'm going to pray, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You have nothing but time on your hands. Nothing but. So, COVID has taught that you can be creative. COVID has taught that what really matters is what really matters. Because, like, right now, I can't go get my hair done. I can't go get for me, I know how to do that, but most people can't get their hair and their nails done. I can't go out and have cocktails.
Right.
I'm having Zoom meetings, having cocktails. You know what I'm saying? So it's just cultivating, basically enhancing your life. Whatever you were trying to do or wanting to do, you got all the time in the world right now to do it.
Yeah.
And make it great.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true. I was talking to my husband about this, where I was telling him, I said, in many ways, I'm kind of enjoying, and I say that with a sensitivity toward those who are not having a good time, because there are people who really are not having a good time. And so I'm definitely sensitive to that. But just in my own bubble reality, just not having to go run to softball practice and football practice and, running here and running there and trying to, juggle work. And I'm still juggling work, but in a different way, and actually being able to, we're back to, all my kids are home. We sit down and we have dinner. All of us, because I have lots of children, and and they're adult. Like, I have, half of them are adult, and the other half are minors, and so getting all of those people on board, to sit at the table at every night to have dinner with competing schedules, is sometimes difficult. But now we're back to, having family time. We sit out on the deck and, turn on the fire pit and enjoy each other. I get to hear about their dreams. I get to see things happening. And not that we didn't communicate before, but there's a different richness in our communication. And so, and I feel more like a whole person, just not having to split myself into, quadrants to be able to be effective in all these different areas of my life. And so, we have some home projects that we're working on. My husband is installing floors, pray for me.
They're going to be beautiful. They're going to be beautiful.
No, they'll be beautiful. It's just, he's a leader, and he doesn't like necessarily, to have my input, and I have a problem not providing it. So we're managing that process. But anyhow, I agree with you about time and what we do with it, and it providing us the opportunity to actually reconnect with ourselves and those who we love, as opposed to running in that hamster wheel constantly, just running. So
it's definitely. I definitely think it's just a reassessment. For me personally and professionally. Professionally, I've had to reassess on how I do things online. You know what I mean? Like, since 97% of my business is in store, I now have to think about what if, because I think it's going to happen again. What if this happens again?
Yeah.
How am I going to still be able to function in what's going to be our now new normal? Right. So professionally reassessing, and even personally reassessing. What is it that I want Kesha to be? God forbid if I didn't wake up tomorrow morning, what would I want people to say about me? What legacy do I want to leave behind? You know what I'm saying? So it's just reassessing who I am as a person and the energy that I want to continue to give off. And just to sit down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a busybody. I needed to get some good rest. I've been sleeping good, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been actually enjoying my home. And it's funny because when you said your husband was working on a project, I actually started doing things at my house that I've been kind of putting on the back burner. Like, I moved into my townhouse 3 years ago, and I still got boxes. But because we've had COVID, I'm at home, so I have no choice but to unbox these boxes, and then Callie is going through the boxes, and I gotta deal with her. But it's been good. I've been actually able to enjoy my home. I've been actually able to get to know who my neighbors are in my subdivision. Some I don't like, some I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just personally, professionally, just reassessing and just actually stopping and to smell the flowers, not just the roses, just all the flowers, because they all have different fragrance and they all give off different things and just beauty. So that's what I would say.
Perfect. Well, that concludes our interview. I'm so grateful for you taking time to do this interview with me and share about Funky Flair Boutique and share Kesha Denise with my listeners. I personally see you as a phenomenal woman, which is why I reached out to you. And I'm sure that my listeners are going to walk away with some really golden nuggets to apply to their own lives. And thank you.
And thank you. And I wanted to say thank you from one phenomenal woman to another phenomenal woman. And those that are listening, you guys are phenomenal women because y'all are phenomenal by listening to this podcast. Thank you for having me on. I am humbly honored to even be considered phenomenal and to be a part of your movement, your podcast. You're doing amazing things. I am going to continue to pray for you, and I want this podcast to be on every platform. I want to see you in Essence. I want to see you in Forbes, and you're dope, and continue to be dope. And listeners, y'all better continue to listen to how dope she is, because she is phenomenal.
Amen. I receive it. I receive it. Yeah. Amen. So tell them where they can find you on Instagram, and I'll also leave a link to your website so they can shop Funky Flair Boutique.
Okay, cool, babes. Everybody, I am on every platform. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and it is literally the handle of Funky Flair Boutique, and that's FUNKY, Flair, FLAIR, Boutique, BOUTIQUE. I do have a website, funkyflairboutique.com, just like how it's spelled. And then also, if you are in the Atlanta area and you want to come down to the Dirty South and get some cute stuff, we are located at 3020 Canton Road, Marietta, Georgia, 30066. I am in the city of Atlanta, or the outskirts of Atlanta. So from the city, quote unquote, I'm about maybe 15-20 minutes from the outskirts. So Funky Flair Boutique, we got a physical location, all social media. Check us out. Cute stuff, y'all. Cute stuff. And affordable.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, girl.